Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy over at the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by...
Hello, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things and Pop Culture podcast. Should I officially add that?
I feel like it's time because I had some people actually ask. They were like, looking forward to seeing what you guys are still doing. And I'm like, a majority of it still Stranger Things. But I'm like, we're, fandom girlies, and there's just so much to discuss with music, movies, TV shows. I think we're going to be slowly sprinkling it throughout, and who knows, you guys might get a one-woman show of me doing Die Hard one episode. Who knows?
I can't be on the Die Hard episode? I love Die Hard.
You can be Hans Gruber.
I've seen it a total of
glass.
1 time.
And you loved it.
Yeah, I wasn't raised with it when I was cooking in my mom's belly, but
yeah, that's the difference. My mom read when she was pregnant with Alexis, law school. Me, I'm like, I can't do long division, but I can quote Bruce Willis.
Well, if you get to do a Die Hard episode by yourself, I guess I'm doing a Heated Rivalry episode by myself.
Okay, I want to see you, act out those love scenes. I'm sorry, that telephone scene, did you see that they're playing it in clubs and
they were he trusted that mute button more than I've ever trusted anything in my life.
Oh my God. My biggest fear is not to overshut. What if you're going to the bathroom, and we've all done it, and you forget to hit mute? There's some things that are unforgivable. You need to set fire to your house, the end. I've seen it happen in TV shows, but that, I'd be like, are you running the vacuum? What's going on? It sounds like something's sucking. And it was really aggressive and hot, but they're playing it in gay clubs with remixes. And I'm like, this is really, I would dance to this. So, nature is healing.
Yeah. So anyway, this is season 5.
Season 5, guys.
We are officially starting season 5 of Skull Rock broadcast. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Who would have thought, man?
Not me.
Not you. No, that tiny little pebble rolled into a rock, and you're like, Stacy, that analogy sucks. Stop trying to make it work.
We're gonna keep going with that. Season
was
5,
a tiny little pebble, and you're like, we get it, Skull Rock. Which I forgot. There's another podcast called Skull Rock Podcast.
Oh yeah, it's a Disney podcast.
It's a Disney one, and it's got a gazillion episodes. And I'm an idiot. I like Disney, but I'm not a Disney girly. I was like, how much could you really talk about Disney? I thought it was just Peter Pan stuff. Because in my head, because the Skull Rock Podcast, which I mistake with calling it that, all the time, you're always like, Stacy, goddammit, we're on season 5 now. But I was like, how much can you honestly talk about? Because I thought it was just about Peter Pan. No, it's just about Disney, which is endless stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a TikTok once, I forget the name, but it was best places to cry, best bathrooms to cry in Disney. So they're if you're having an emotional episode, you can cry in this bathroom. It's really nice to cry in, the acoustics. That's the kind of stuff I look for. So I'm like, oh, okay, but I thought it was just a podcast about Peter Pan. I was
it's a podcast about Disney. So
Disney.
Did they did that episode about the best
no,
bathrooms to cry in?
It was somebody else, because I always like I said, I'm not a Disney. I haven't gone since 93. So sometimes I like watching the food because I always hear it's overpriced, but it can be delicious. I'm like, how much did that Rice Krispie treat, cost you? But there are some real hardcore Disney fans which respect the the hustle, but I'm like, if I was eating all that shit all day and then rode the Dumbo ride, no.
I just, one of my core memories of going to Disney World as a kid, I was a young teen, I guess, was my parents buying us chocolate milk and a chocolate chip cookie for breakfast,
and you're like, this is heaven.
We never were able to eat sweet stuff like that for breakfast, so I was like, oh my God,
this is decadent. Remember, it was always a big deal with sitcoms. You could kind of tell they were running out of ideas when there was always an episode where they go to Disney, on Full House and Roseanne. Clearly Disney was making a fortune, but it was always a whole episode of them at the park. And I'm like, where could this honestly go?
Yeah.
Like,
So I also saw like I think it was a Threads post, which I've been like obsessed with Threads lately. Are you
I'm
on
not
Threads at
on
all?
it, and I always try to click it, and then it's like, you got to sign up. And I'm like, God damn
You
it.
should sign up because I was never really into Twitter. I didn't really understand it, but somehow the Threads algorithm is
hitting.
pretty good. It's pretty good. Like it's like I'm getting
What kind of stuff you find him?
I'm getting Stranger Things. I'm
Love
getting
that.
Joe. I'm getting Heated Rivalry, obviously.
Love
I'm
that.
getting millennial stuff. I'm
Oh,
getting
that's the best.
ADHD stuff.
Yep.
So
They know their audience.
they know me. Like
Mhm.
it's pretty.
You're like, it's
It's a
me.
little scary actually, but I thought of that because there was a Threads post and it was like, you call it ADHD, I call it conversational jazz.
I mean, that's true,
This
man.
episode is already some conversational jazz.
Guys, literally, we're like, let's start early. We'll chit chat for a little bit. We have been talking about A, B, C, and D. I told her all about ER. We've been talking the pit. We've been talking about everything. And then finally I was like, this has been gold. Let's just start recording.
Yeah,
'cause
2 hours,
just been
guys.
clucking.
We've been talking for 2 hours.
And
before
we called
started
on
recording.
Friday. So, like, it's not like we're really catching up on a lot. But I'm like, Megan, let me tell you every spoiler alert about Noah Wiley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I'm loving the pit right now. I caught up. It's very good. Huge
Love
fan
it.
of Dr. Langdon and Dr.
Yes.
King. Like people apparently like ship them like romantically. Like
I feel like those shows, like, it's almost there's no time to ship
yeah,
anybody.
and that was I didn't really think of them as like my favorite even as I was watching it. It wasn't until I was like finally caught up and I was like, okay, like I can process this a little bit, and I was like, okay, those are definitely my favorites. But like
yeah.
I just think that their relationship is very cute because it's like her with all of her little eccentricities and stuff, and
Yeah.
him sort of understanding that in this most recent episode when he
I
turns the light
know.
off. I was like,
Such a small gesture, but you
Oh.
could tell it meant the world.
yeah.
And that's Bryan Cranston's daughter, which
Is
I
it?
had no idea. Yeah, I've never
So the
seen
one
Breaking
that
Bad.
plays Dr. King, Mel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the one. I thought you were talking about the one.
The autistic one?
Yeah. But like, I thought you were when you said that, I thought you were talking about the one with the ankle monitor in the
Yeah,
first
no,
season.
that's Fiona Dorff. That's Brad Dorff, who is a famous actor. So there's like two Nepo babies, but they're like kick-ass Nepo babies.
Yeah,
which I'm
they're
like,
both my favorite like female actors on the show. For
nothing
sure.
is more like, I know Maya Hawke has this like movie coming out with Louis Pullman, and I always say that Brandy's husband Andy kind of looks like him. And I went, look, it's Andy and Maya, but I went, those are like also two Nepo babies that I like really like. Like they're not entitled and they're actually good actors.
So
So
Mel, Dr. King is Bryan Cranston's daughter. That's fascinating.
which once you know, you'll see it in the face. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. There's like a podcast that they're doing now on HBO Max, like a companion podcast, but it's like a video podcast too for the
Oh,
pit.
cool.
And I was like, maybe I'll watch this.
Might be worth it. I remember that kind of stuff used to turn me off, like with The Walking Dead, they'd do the Talking Dead. And
I
I'm like,
used to watch it. I used to love it.
Of course you did. Alexis did too. And I'm like, are we really going to discuss the episode we just saw?
I
saw?
have
And then
that
I'm
on our
like,
list for today to talk about.
oh, bit. Wait until I tell you about the Negan tattoo. But I'm like, yeah, like what a time to be alive. And here I am busting these people's balls. And I'm like, what the fuck do we think we're doing? Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
Stacey.
No, but yeah, it's when I was watching the first season, I was binging it, and I just felt like I was so immersed. I wasn't even thinking about, not until we talked on Friday, and I was
Yeah.
like, how did they make that baby be born so realistically?
and I'm like, let me tell you. And it's like, there was once this show, I think it was called Bodies or something, and it was, I think, made in the UK, and it's about like, I don't know, what do you call the birthing unit? I don't know, the baby unit? There must be a fancy name. It can't be called the baby unit.
Wait,
the-
why don't I know this?
I know, right?
Like labor and delivery.
Labor and delivery. And it's kind of like that. It's a melodrama, but it's about how like the head of the hospital is like getting all these malpractice suits and stuff. And he's literally a butcher. And there's this really handsome hot doctor who's like trying to put a stop to him. But literally in the UK, they do not care. They show everything, nudity, everything, gore. And there was a very similar birth like that. It's called shoulder dysmorphia or something, where basically the baby gets lodged out of you half in, half out, which talk about hell on earth. And I remember seeing it going, oh my God, they're showing it coming out. Yeah, yeah. You would think I would, like, I don't have kids, but like, no, okay, that's horrific. What the fuck? Like, once somebody showed me like how much somebody is like dilated, I thought it was literally candy that they were showing me. I went, what is that? And use your imagination. So
It
horrific.
was a cervix.
It was a cervix with a baby's head coming out of it. And I'm like, that's not candy. And then I'm like, eh. So anywho, I was like, this has never been done before. Then the pit happens. And I heard all about the effects team because they did Chucky the TV series. And I went, when they showed it, I went, if I ever had to help deliver a baby, I'd be that asshole that would go, I'm going to go fetch some hot water and towels. And I'd never come back.
That's funny. Another show I have on my list to talk about today is called The Midwife, which I feel like I've mentioned before.
Ever since you mentioned that, there's been TikToks about it. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's like true crime, Joe Keery, and then it's like Call the Midwife. I'm like,
It's really
why is
good,
this popping up?
there's a lot of births on that show too, obviously, which I've never really thought about, like how they do it, because it's so realistic and you're just
right
like
away she was like,
in the
so how did they
moment.
do that? And I'm like, they made a silicone body from the waist down. You're like, really? And I'm like, oh yeah. Like I was just talking about how, so there may or may not be a penis shown in the latest episode. And it was magnificent. I got to tell you, what a piece of art. And I was talking about the penis stance in HBO, how Euphoria, it's all prosthetics and stuff. And I'm like, that's what I should have done when I started makeup. I should have just made prosthetic penises. And that's it. That was my brand. Because there are some that I'm like, that was fake. No way. Like JQ's in Warfare, I was fooled. None of the vets knew that I was there
I still
for
haven't
that.
seen Warfare. I forgot about that.
It's a little intense. It's very well made.
I think I'm okay. I can watch a war movie.
You can handle that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
well made, but it's intense. Like you could hear a pin drop when it ended, which I can only imagine for vets.
what was
And
the
I'm-
most recent one where it was like a sniper guy? I saw that in the movie
American
theater.
Sniper
Yeah, I saw
with Bradley
that.
Cooper.
Yeah,
that came out
yeah.
like fucking 15 years ago.
It wasn't
You
that long ago.
That's the movie where he's holding clearly a plastic baby doll and they're like, make it look real. And I'm like, Bradley, that's why you don't have an Oscar. Yeah, I don't mind a war movie, but that I remember like sitting there and there's all these old vets. Thank you for your service. And in my head, I'm like, none of them know that mild perverted ass is here for the fake JQ penis. And Brandy warned me. She was like, the circumstances, it's not sexy, Stacey. It's bad. And I'm like, we'll see about that. Cut to me. I'm like, that's a nice looking penis. And there's blood and screaming. And I'm like, that's a nice penis. Good job, JQ.
Oh my gosh, this is just
This is
reminding
what's going to
me.
happen if it ends up being pop culture. It's going to be me being like, let's talk about the penis stance.
Because you sent me that video of what is her name, Amelia Clark, and what is that her name? What's the
I
video?
sent you so many reels.
the
You know this.
Khaleesi, what's the actress's
Oh,
name?
yeah. Amelia Clark.
Yeah, and the
The
girl,
girl from White Lotus.
from White Lotus, who I guess they're in a show Ponies together.
Really?
Which-
I didn't know that.
That was what they were sitting together. They were doing press.
Okay, that
for.
makes sense. I was
Yeah.
like, this is random. Okay.
And they were talking about heated rivalry. And I was
Yeah, they
like,
were.
wait, Stacey, that's us.
One's going off the chain. The other one's trying to
Talking
keep it
about
professional.
vibrators.
Yeah, keep everything
Yeah,
charged.
and Amelia is like, I'm not going to say what you said. And then the other girl, I think her name's Haley. She's just like, you
My
mean
clit,
what?"
yeah.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll
You're
be
like,
able to
Stacey, you just said clit on the podcast. Thank you.
keep it.
I said it
under
again.
wings.
We'll try,
Um,
man.
But yeah, so why did I just keep saying that we were going to talk about The Walking Dead and
Oh,
Call
yes.
the Midwife? What are we
So,
doing on this
We're not
episode?
we're not talking about like cervixes and candy. What is this popular trend that's hitting the interwebs right now, Megan?
So you gotta love nostalgia, right?
Mm.
So apparently we're all very nostalgic for 10
times-
years ago.
Times are bleak right now.
So we're gonna time travel a little bit to, like, follow this trend and go back in time to 2016.
Could you imagine? You're like, I'm going to go back when the Cowboys were around. I'm going to go back when Lincoln gets assassinated to stop it. And instead, you only go back 10 years and you're like, well, oh, okay. Like,
So we're going to talk about 2016 because 2016 was a big year for Stranger Things, obviously.
It sure was. Isn't that crazy? 10 years ago.
Full circle. You got to love
Wow.
full circle.
And I remember, like I said, I think I've mentioned this before. My late friend Mike was like, oh, yeah, Wynonna's going to be in this new show about this kid that goes missing, and it's her kid, and she goes crazy. That was the synopsis for me. And I had never seen any trailers or anything. And just by chance, in July of 2016, I was house sitting for my sister, and I remember watching it. And I'm like, it's like Stephen King and Steven Spielberg made a show. And I binged it within 2 days. And I'm just like, I'm thinking back on how we got season 2 the next year around Halloween. And I'm like, oh, we were spoiled. But it's crazy that that's when it premiered because I remember finishing it and right away I'm on iTunes. Yes, Stacey still buys music on iTunes. And I like downloaded the theme song and I'm like, this slaps. Like, what's the matter with me?
Yeah, it was great. But I was like kind of thinking about this episode and I was watching a lot of TV
Me too.
in that time period.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there was a lot of good TV on at the time and a lot
Yeah.
of TV that like everybody was watching. And it was like, I feel like I was talking about these shows with like
Mhm.
all sorts of people. So I was living in an apartment, which it's funny because that year, like the next year, we moved back in with my parents for a few years.
Mhm.
So it's like, I remember this time specifically because we were still in the apartment and I like remember watching these shows like in the apartment. So like, that's kind of like how my brain like remembers this time.
That's how I
but-
usually remember when movies and TV came out. I'm always like, where was I? Like
Yeah.
at that time. That's how I measure time.
Exactly.
I get that.
It's like movies, TV shows, like songs. I do that with like
Current hyperfixation.
yeah.
For Stacey, tattoos.
books,
like
books that I read
Books?
around the time, like which there were some books that I was also reading that kind of go along with the shows that I was watching at this time because I was reading the book series of like Game of Thrones and Outlander and
Oh,
like the
yeah.
shows were also happening at the same time too.
What
So
season was like Game of Thrones 2016?
that's a good question. I did write down Outlander season 2 came out in 2016.
Never seen that.
But I'm not sure what season Game of Thrones was. You look it up.
Oh, Everybody Wants Some came out in 2016. We love that movie.
We stand that movie.
We stand that movie. Yeah, I'm looking at like movies that came out.
It was season 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking like I remember the movie Split came out and I took 2 coworkers with me and I'm like, yes, M. Night Shyamalan, like he's really great. I love James McAvoy. And we watch it and it ends up like, spoiler alert, it's like a sequel to the movie Unbreakable, but that nobody liked but me. So I was the only person in a packed audience when it showed like Bruce Willis at the end. Forever Bruce Willis.
Who
girl.
like got it?
I right away went, let's go. Everybody was like, well, she really likes Bruce Willis. But yeah, I literally lost my mind. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that came out. The Girl on the Train, that's the same person that wrote Gone Girl, right?
No.
See, you're a book girly. This is why you're
Different
here.
author, but both sort of similar genre of like thrillers and then like making the movie. But I didn't watch The Girl on the Train when
No,
it
me
first
neither.
came out, I guess, because I remember watching that at my parents' house. Like when it was like already on streaming, we must have watched it. Or, you know what I was also doing still at that time, I bet?
What were you doing?
Getting movies from the Redbox
Girl.
DVDs.
Girl,
Do
remember
you
that?
remember that?
And now they're just like empty husks of like dead, empty boxes now.
Yeah, I
like,
don't. Most of the ones that I knew of aren't even there anymore. What?
Yeah,
What a
like-
time to be alive!
what a time to be alive. I'm like looking over all these movies and stuff, and I'm like,
I had a
remember
question
that.
about something. So when I looked up, it said that movie 11/22/63 came out in
With
2016.
James fucking
I was so
Franco.
confused because it's just now on Netflix. So it came up on my
Oh.
Netflix the other day to like suggest it for me to watch. But
Yeah.
then I was looking at stuff that came out in 2016. So is it bad?
So the book is probably one of my favorite non-horror Stephen King books. And
Okay.
like I like history, but like literally my sister was like, try to read this. It's really good. It's about time travel, but it's not sci-fi. Read it. And I read it, and literally the character of Jake, who's like a teacher who ends up going back in time to stop the Kennedy assassination, he's probably one of my all-time favorite Stephen King characters. And it's so, like, there's a love story in it, so heartbreaking, so well written. And I remember, like, it was during MCAST, and I was like the bathroom monitor. They didn't know what to do with me. So I was like guarding the bathrooms, watching the kids. And I'm literally just enthralled with this book that I read it in less than a week, which was a record for me. And I was so pumped. I'm like, this should be made into a miniseries or a movie. Nothing against James Franco, even though he's a big old fucking creep. Literally, when he got cast, I was like, I feel like my heart has been ripped out. That is not who I imagined, which Stephen King always said was an issue for him because he does his own casting in his head. But I went, James Franco is like there to make stoner movies. He's not our Jake to try to save the world. Like, no. So I was so mad I never checked it out because Alexis was like, it's like somebody takes something you love and sets it on fire and shits on it. So I went, you know what? I'm going to skip that one. And I'm curious about it, but everyone said the casting is what ruins it because it's such a good story, but he sucks. So I did see it was streaming either on Hulu or Netflix.
It's on Netflix now, just this month for the first time. It used to be on Hulu, I think.
You're a reading girly. Skip the fucking miniseries. Read the book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Be your first Stephen King book, please.
So the other the other shows that I was watching around that time. I mean, we've talked about House of Cards being out around that time a little bit, and that didn't age well, obviously.
It did not age well.
I watched the first couple seasons, and it was big, especially around here because they filmed it like close to here.
Oh, really?
Like
okay.
a lot of the
that
stuff,
makes sense.
you know, because it was DC, but a lot of the stuff was filmed like in Baltimore or like even like the county I live in, like there's like abandoned gas stations like on like the road that I drive to work, and like some of them were like in House of Cards. So it's just
I just love how, spoiler alert, guys, they were like, fuck Kevin Spacey, they kill him off, and then they're like, Laura Linney, you're now president. And I'm like, good for you, Netflix. But I remember like streaming, like I was just getting into Orange is the New Black, clearly Stranger Things.
I love
and I'm
Orange
like,
is the New Black.
But like back then, like I would watch weekly episodes like The Walking Dead. I had started watching it from the beginning. It came out when I was at makeup school and came out on Halloween night. We're all excited. And I had never read the graphic novels and stuff, but I was like, oh, this is really cool, yada, yada, yada. And it was like my Sunday weekly show on AMC to watch. And I remember literally I started kind of losing interest after like season 3 or so. I'm like, oh, it's just they go to one new place and then they have to leave. They go to a new place. I was like, the whole governor subplot, meh. And I also worked staff at Horror Hound, where they would do headliner shows when Walking Dead was at the peak of its popularity. And nothing against Walking Dead fans, guys, but oh my God, like you would need, and I don't smoke, you'd need a cigarette after dealing with these people. And it kind of almost ruined it for me because I was like, God damn. And, you know, I met some of the cast, they're all nice and stuff, but I wasn't that hardcore of a fan. And I was like, I'm more like liking the end of the world stuff, you know, and that's the guy from Love Actually. Okay, cool.
I used to like joke about Love Actually being like a Walking Dead
the
prequel.
Him being just a piece of shit, and then he goes back to Lori. But I just remember like being enthralled with it, and this was around the time stuff was getting shot due to tax breaks in Georgia. And I was like, okay, I'm captivated. It's like my soap opera. And then it just started like the characters were getting unlikable. And then my tattoo artist, Shani, went, well, get ready. Season 5, 6, they're going to introduce Negan. And I'm like, who's Negan? And he goes, oh, he's this big baddie. You know, people have fan casted Henry Rollins from Black Flag. People think he's this badass with a bat and he bashes people's heads in and wears a scarf. And I'm like, bougie. So next thing you know, they tease that it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I only knew from Supernatural and Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, Denny DeCat. And he's a handsome man. So I'm like, ooh, this kind of works. And the way they were teasing it and stuff, I did a death pool at my work, and I just remember explaining to the nicest counselor who had never seen anything like The Walking Dead. She was like, well, who's this person? I'm like, okay. So the game is somebody gets their brains bashed in. You have to guess who it is. And she's like, oh, that sounds terrible. Let's go with the pregnant one. She should die. And I'm like, maybe HR should not know about this, but it became this big hype thing. And I remember like being so excited with the buildup of this great villain and stuff. And that's when I did get into Grey's Anatomy because I'm like, he's cute. And then they did the cliffhanger where literally you don't know who died. And a lot of people were like, that's such a cop-out. But somebody on The Talking Dead said, back in the day in the 70s, it was Who Shot JR. There were always these great cliffhangers where you'd have to wait the following year to get a resolution. Yeah, resolution. And I'm like, revolution. And I'm an idiot.
You
but
say you
literally,
want a revolution. Wow.
She's off the rails, guys. But I had to agree with that because I was like, yeah, there's no longer any good cliffhangers because around the time streaming started hitting.
Yeah.
And I like this. And then it ended up just being so devastating. And you've talked to my sister, like that's around the time she checked out because it just was so brutal and graphic. And I remember just getting caught up in the hype. Shane got himself like a Walking Dead tattoo from the graphic novel, the Negan. I was like, get me a Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Guys, literally like 2 episodes it aired. Got it on my ankle. I fucking hate The Walking Dead now. Nothing against the fans or anything of the show, but the fact that Lady knows when to leave and it just kept going and going and spin-offs and spin-offs. And I'm like, nobody's watching this anymore because it's shit. And I love that whenever I bitch about it, I always go, says the girl with the massive Negan tattoo. So I always go, Shane, we were such summer children. We were like, Negan rules, tattoos. And then I'm like, now I'm literally like, that show went to like pee-pee poo-poo. But that was cute. I'm
Don't you
surprised
love
watched
that,
it.
like, Sweet Summer Child? That's a Game of Thrones
My
reference.
sweet summer child. Yep. Love that. I was late to the game with that one, but man. But I'm surprised you watched shows like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, they're not, like, horror. Like, they're just, like, dark, I guess. And I can handle that. But I feel like there's so many shows that it was like they weren't streaming shows like Netflix, like Orange is the New Black and stuff like that. Those where you could watch them all at one time.
Yes.
But there were shows that I came into late, so I did binge them.
Yeah.
And I
That makes
binged
sense.
them until I like caught up with like the current season. But then I would like lose interest when I had to like wait week by week because it was like
We're spoiled, man,
so
now.
annoying to have to wait. Like, so it's funny now because that's what I was doing with The Pit, and I was like, do I want to watch this week by week? But I'm like, I guess
Are you
it'll
caught
give,
up?
yeah, I guess it'll give me something to like look forward to week by week. But I feel like I prefer to like binge shows. I don't know. So
That's
is this
because episodes end
around-
so abruptly.
yeah, around this time, 2016 was like just like such a kind of perfect sort of mix of
But
like
the media that was coming out was really good because, like you said, it was the kind of shows everyone was watching. Everyone
Yeah.
was talking about at work the next day. You know, that was always the first thing I'd do. I'd go into the art room and talk about it with the art teacher and a few other people, and we'd geek out about it. And then, like, there were cool movies that came out. Like, I remember 10 Cloverfield Lane came out with John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth
I don't
Winstead.
think I ever watched that. Should I watch that?
That's good because I remember when Cloverfield came out and it's a found footage movie, and then the sequel is a regular movie about people living in a bomb shelter when the aliens attack, and it's like this psychological thriller because it's these two people that are strangers that go into the fallout shelter that John Goodman owns, and he's really a psychopath, and they're like, is there really an alien invasion or is he just crazy? And they had told nobody that they had been filming this. And I usually follow productions. And I always said it was like the Beyonce of movies because it was their lemonade. Nobody knew they were releasing it. And it was such a surprise. But I, loved stuff like that. I really loved, the movies that they were cranking out. Like, yes, we did get Suicide Squad choices. I never saw La La Land, but I do love that they messed up at the Oscars and
It's
instead of saying
good.
Moonlight.
I liked it.
Is it cute or is it like
I feel like I watched it with my friend and it was cute. Like
okay?
it didn't bother me. Like it wasn't
I
bad.
like that director's other movie Babylon, but it's like 3 hours long and very over the top.
Mm.
But I like Emma Stone and I like Ryan Gosling,
Yes,
so
I like both of them a lot too. So I feel like it was easy for me to watch it. I guess that makes sense.
and then I remember
that makes
Deadpool
sense.
came out and I went, whoop-de fucking do. It's fucking Van Wilder playing a superhero. And everyone's like, but that's Deadpool. And I'm like, I'm not a big Marvel girly, so I'm just like, So
Yeah.
I wasn't like racing to the movies. I found myself watching more television at the time.
Same. So I like looked up TV, and I didn't even like look up movies. So let me look
It's
up
really
if there
nothing to
were
write home
if there
about.
were any movies that I remember watching in 2016.
I was running my movie blog at the time, and I remember I was like mostly going back to like older movies from the 80s and 70s and stuff. Stay Still Reviews. It was my old blog. I had a lot of fun running that and stuff, and I do little giveaways.
Rogue One came out in 2016.
Dude, all I remember is going, but they die at the end, right?
It was really
and literally
sad.
everyone's like, yeah. And wasn't this around the time Carrie Fisher had passed? So when
I
it came
think
out,
so,
it was
yeah.
around that time. That ending made me bawl like a baby.
Did I see it in the movie theater? See, I don't even know if I saw it in the movie theater.
It's just a blur for you.
Yeah. That's
You
so
know what I
funny.
remember? And I no shade to this movie, but shade. The female Ghostbusters movie came out. Never saw it, but no wonder it tanked because it sucked. But the only good thing that came out of it was they re-released the Ecto Cooler High Seas. And for some weird reason, I had just this hyper fixation going. For nostalgia, I was like, I loved these as a kid. So they only sold them at this market called Shaw's. And I remember buying like literally 10 packs. And each pack had like 10 juice boxes. And one night, I may have been partying a little bit with my friend. I drank like a whole pack, which is pure sugar. I have never been more violently ill in my life. Like, literally wanted to die. But it was worth it.
Office Christmas Party came out that year. We just
Classic.
watched that.
That's a good one.
It was really good. Apparently, there was a movie called Sausage Party that came out.
Oh,
that year.
I didn't like that movie. All the foods, they like have an orgy at the end and it's graphic.
So let me ask you this: Jason Bourne, is Jason Bourne the original one? Like, tell me
the
about
one
the
with
Bourne.
Jeremy Renner, because it was originally Matt Damon.
It's Matt. It says it stars Matt Damon.
All I know is it was a remake, I think, of a 70s movie, a spy movie. And then Matt Damon did it. Boring as shit. He made a few sequels. And then, like, Jeremy, they were like, we're going to reboot the franchise. Nobody's watching those fucking movies.
I thought they were kind of good. I liked the Bourne movies that I saw in the movie theater. I mean, Matt Damon is nice to look at. Isn't he?
All I remember is
not-
him planting the potatoes in The Martian. And it's all made out of poo.
The Purge election year. I do remember that. I didn't see it.
Brandy showed me that. I had like a panic attack. She's like, you've never watched all the Purge movies? And I'm like, I'm not having a good time.
Okay, I did see this in the movie theater, but fuck J.K. Rowling. But Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them came out that
I
year
didn't see that. No.
as well. So, yeah, not as much movie stuff as like TV, because like a lot of the things that we already talked about, obviously I was watching, but then another one I remember, did you ever watch The Night Of on HBO? And if
No.
you haven't, you should go back and watch it.
What's it about?
Like, it's like a limited series. I think it's only like maybe 4 to 6 episodes, but it's like a thriller mystery type situation. Like, I mean, this was 10 years ago, but
yeah, I know.
I remember, I think we binged it in like one night because it was so good. And
No
I
shit.
again, I was like talking about it with people at work. Like the guy is like a cab driver and something happens. And then it's like, I think somebody might get murdered. And it's like they're going back and like looking at what happened that night. I should rewatch it because I remember it being really good.
Taxi cab confessions. I think there was a murder.
But I was also watching Once Upon a Time around that
Oh my
time.
God.
But I was like binging all of the old seasons. And then again, I caught up, but then I never finished it. Like, so I feel like I've done that with so many shows. Like,
Especially if they're like those kind of shows that were on like ABC or NBC, like they have like 25 episodes a
Yeah.
season. You're like
and
that
then
was
they have
being
like
lost
10,
back in the day.
12 seasons.
Oh
like,
my God, who has the time?
Yeah.
Even back then, like I just remember at the time I had to sell my Chevy Cobalt. That was my first car, and I bought a used Honda Pilot. I was like, "This is mint." Literally, the rear end was like rotting off, and I'm like, "Well, whoops, I'm just a girl." But I felt like I was in Jurassic Park driving this fucking thing, and I remember going into theaters to see X-Men Apocalypse, and I love the prequel movies and X-Men Days of Future Past that came out in 2014. one of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies. This piece of shit, on the other hand, takes place in the 80s. And they had Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones in it. And they had the guy from Ready Player One. And I'm like,
I think
what
I saw
is this?
it. I think I saw that. I remember seeing an X-Men movie with Sophie Turner.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
just driving home in my Pilot, and then I figured out that I had seat warmers, and I had never had seat warmers before. And I'm like, so this is how the other half lives, huh? I hated giving that up, but the rear end was rotting out. But yeah, that was my big thing, that I bought a used car, and that thing was a lemon. And I just thought, like, la la la, everything will be fine. And then I got my Aliens tattoo of Michael Biehn. He's one of the lead actors on it. And I got it, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of spicy. And then I started noticing the older you get, the worse your pain tolerance is. So cool.
Remember how you told me the whole plot to Alien and Aliens one time? I don't
Literally,
remember any of it.
All I should have said was, it takes place in space. Instead, guys, at Brandy's house, I'm breaking down Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, the TV series. And she is so polite. This is before she, like, finally got comfortable enough to be like, Stacey, shut up. I don't care. You're like, uh-huh. And I'm like, yeah, and then the xenomorph. And you're like,
and I was kind of
okay.
like, well, maybe I might want to watch it sometime. But like,
spoiled the whole goddamn thing. I know she
don't
didn't remember one
any
word.
of it, so
It was-
I could
it was a
totally still
blur.
watch it.
No, but Aliens was one of my all-time favorite movies. And I remember I finally went, I'm going to pay tribute.
So what tattoos did you get in 2016?
On New Year's Eve, right before 2016, I got that huge Green Inferno tattoo on my thigh. Choices. Later on, I was like, why did I do this?
Were you drunk?
I mean, Shane was like, okay. I got the Negan one, I believe, and then I got the Aliens one. And yeah, I just remember around that time, there was a horror convention in this really bad town called Springfield. Shout out Springfield, Mass. And I went on a blind date with a guy. Trust me, he's not listening. And I met him, on Instagram and stuff. He has blocked me years ago. And he was a creep, probably a serial killer. And we were like, oh, we both like the horror community. Okay, cool. So I get in this dude's car. I'd never met him before. We drive out to Springfield and we go. And luckily, like, I knew a lot of people there, and Shane was there too. While I'm walking into the convention, Shane's like leaving with Lacey, his girlfriend. And I go, peace out, West Side. And he tried to like do a peel out. He ended up hitting the curb and had to call AAA. And I couldn't stop laughing. He really fucked his car up. He's like, I'm an idiot. But the guy was kind of giving me weird vibes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make the best of this. The cast of Frankenhookers here and Night of the Creeps. I'm in my element. Joe Bob Briggs, that was the first time I met him. He's a movie host. This guy, literally, we enter the place and he goes, I wonder if I'm going to run into any of my fans. And I go, I didn't hear that right. And I go, huh? And he goes, oh, I call my Instagram followers, not my friends or followers, but my fans. Because, they are following me. And at that exact moment, I was like, I fucked up. So I was stuck at this like shitty ass little convention that was like 2 fucking rooms. And literally I was so rude. I ended up at one point just leaving and going to a table with people I knew. They're like, do you need a ride? But he was cringy. He was the one that we went to another con in 2019. I don't know why I went on another date with this guy a few years later. But I saw the guy who played Pinhead. Him and his like girlfriend were clearly looking for their car in the parking lot. And I literally went, when you can't find your car because it's parked in hell. That was gold, that joke. Him not laughing, I was like, oh, we're not going on a third date, baby doll.
Keeping that in.
Yeah, so that literally stuck out to me, and I just remember buying more Ecto Cooler. What was the matter with me? From Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, I went, I hear you're selling Ecto Cooler, like a crack addict. And he was like, yes. Instead of talking to the man, I literally went, how much? And then I'm like sipping on a juice box. So I'm like, 2016, there were some choices going on, guys. But
so I was doing a lot of yoga that year.
Okay, that's better. Yep.
And I was going to yoga classes and I kept hearing this like musician, and I was like really into his voice and I had no idea who it was. And so I started like,
I know who it is.
Googling Googling the lyrics that I remembered from
Look at
the
you.
songs that were on these playlists in my yoga classes.
Yeah.
And who did I discover in 2016?
Trevor Hall.
Good job, Stacey.
I almost said 2 other wrong names, but I was like, no, it's the third one. How many times have you seen him?
25 times.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, in the past 10 years. So I looked him up and I realized that he was like gonna be playing at a yoga festival that was like 20 minutes from my house.
A yoga festival.
Yeah, it was like a yoga and music festival.
So what does everybody do? Yoga is like music's playing?
Yeah, there's vendors, food, yoga classes, then there's like a big concert and like other like smaller bands throughout the day and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that. So yeah.
I mean, I want to go to one, but you know what? That sounds like fun.
I think you would be
Megan, I would accidentally fart doing a downward dog.
No, but
and
you
then
don't
I'd
have to
cry
do-
and run away.
you don't have to do yoga at the yoga
I'll be with all the
festival.
cool kids doing drugs in the woods.
Yeah, there was that was happening too,
Oh,
for sure.
at a yoga festival? Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw him for the first time at that festival, but then I was like, I need to see him again. So I saw him like
Doesn't sound like you at
later-
all.
later that year in November in DC.
Mm.
So I saw him twice in 2016, and then I continued to see him very many times throughout the next few years.
You Penny Lane.
So that was like a big part of my 2016 was discovering Trevor Hall for sure. And the whole yoga thing, because then in 2017 is when I did yoga teacher training.
Oh, cool.
So that was like a big year for yoga for me too.
You know, Alexis squatted down to like reach for something in the cabinet, and I went, how the fuck are you gonna stand back up? And she was like, yoga. And I'm like, okay, Megan. Like Megan 2.0.
Yeah, but I also was like working at the first school that I worked at, and
Yeah,
then
me
like
too.
in 2017 was when I like switched schools too. So that, and also I think I finished my grad school stuff in 2016.
Yeah.
So like it
Guys,
was like
I'm
a
talking
lot.
I'm talking about Negan tattoos, bad dates, and high C, and you're like, I went to festivals and concerts. I finished my degree. I became a yoga instructor, and I'm like, well, a lot of accomplishments. Cool.
But like
I drank high C.
then I haven't done anything since then.
I mean, same girly, same.
You know, started at a new school, was done with my like grad school stuff, and then was like, okay, let's just
Let's just feel out the vibes, man. I
just
just
go
remember
on vibes for the rest of my life.
2016, I just remember everyone was like, you need to get Snapchat. And I'm like, it's stupid. I'm like, that's the thing that warns people if you like screenshot. And they were like, no, get it.
The
So a bunch-
flower crown.
The flower crown was ultimate. But of course, I find the ugliest filter, which was that thing I posted on my Instagram of the alien. And I would like send serious messages to my friends being like, so-and-so died. But imagine me wearing that filter. And wasn't like Pokemon Go? Like I didn't ever do it. But I was
Pokemon
like,
Go might have been 2016, was it?
nature was healing. People were getting outside.
Let's look that up, because
I mean, I sure as hell wasn't.
You might be right.
But I know how you feel about Pokemon. You might tear up.
the year
Catch 'em all.
of Pokemon Go,
Go.
I feel like it might have been 2015.
That could have been
Oh
a serial
no, you're
killer's
right.
dream.
July 6th, 2016.
Look at people-
2016 was the Pokemon Go year. I was
Snapchat
doing
filters.
Pokemon Go.
You were. I just always wondered, I was like, what if some nut hacked the app and they were like, yeah, go to this alleyway at night to get this, like, I don't know, a Pikachu, that's the only one I can name, and it's somebody with a chainsaw. So that summer was eventful with that and Stranger Things.
It was like you would be walking around and then like you would be on your phone and you would see other people walking around on their phone and you would know that they were also
so nerds, I love it.
doing Pokemon Go.
I love that had a resurgence. I'm like, they tried to do it with Power Rangers the next year, and sorry, Dacre, didn't work, but fucking Pokemon, forever eternal.
Yeah, that's so funny. 2016, man.
People were getting outside. I remember around that time I discovered, even though it had been going on for years, Coachella. and how like there was the whole 3-day outfits at Coachella. And I'm not a fashion girly. I wear sweats and leggings. People think like I wandered away from somewhere. And literally like this year even, I was like, look at that rookie move wearing high heel boots, Quinn. Can you imagine what a loser? Guys. I can't remember physically going outside once in 2016. So maybe I should have a slice of humble pie.
You should have done Pokemon Go and it would have gotten you outside.
Imagine me trying to pronounce those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. What was I saying the other day? We got to get horned in, and really it's... That killed you.
That was with the episode with Trevor, which will have come out by the time this episode comes out. So
You're welcome, everyone. I was struggling.
That was fun. Is there anything else that we would like to reminisce about from 2016?
What an odd year. Like, literally, I looked through my photos, and I'm like, well, there's a photo of me, like, burning the easiest cookies ever to bake. Like, and I remember, like, I went to a Wayback Burger, which I had never heard of before.
There was one near me for a little while, but it didn't last long.
No, mine either. And they did this promotional thing for the shitty Ghostbusters movie, but it was Ghost Pepper Burger. And it was a slime shake. And I remember going, like, I'm going to shit my pants. And I ate it at the restaurant. My friend's watching me, like, sweat because I don't do good with spice. And I'm like, oh, my God, I got to get home. Like, those are the only memories that stand out to me. And I'm like, did I go outside ever? Like, oh my God.
I remember going to the pool at my apartment complex that summer.
Actually, funny enough, you said that. When I was house sitting for my sister at her old place, she had a beautiful in-ground pool. And they always say don't ever swim alone, which, yeah, you really shouldn't. And I remember, like, in between Stranger Things episodes, I was like, it's hot. I'm going to go outside and swim. And I forgot that their landscaper swung by on this particular day. And I swear to God, at this exact moment, I'm like treading water in the deep end. My titty had popped out. And literally, this is why I should wear a t-shirt, but I was like, no one's around. And I'm literally trying to stuff my tit back in my bathing suit. And like, you could definitely tell, even though I was underwater. And Jose came over and he was like, is Brenda here? Sean's mom. And I went, and I'm just holding my tit. And I went, no, I'm Alexis's sister. And I'm like, I'm holding my tit. And he like tried not to look. And he just went, okay, I'll be out front. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my tit away.
You did go outside.
I did that one time, and I flashed my titty at Jose, the landscaper. So that was my big accomplishment.
Now, this is reminding me of on Everybody Wants This, when they're
Everybody
talking.
wants some. I love you.
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants this. That's what the show is called, right?
The movie?
No, the one with
I love how annoyed she gets, guys. She's talking in riddles.
The one with Adam Brody. Have you watched it?
No.
Oh, Nobody Wants This. They have the podcast.
Okay.
And they have like a landscaper or landlord. I don't know. He's somebody. He's somebody. And they talk about like doing something really bad. I forget. Forget what.
What were they gonna do, man?
This is that meme that I sent you recently where it's like sometimes I just start talking.
You'll see what happens. We're going on some side quest right now.
But anyway, she talks about something and then they tell the landscaper landlord guy, oh, you got a shout out on the podcast. And so the guy listens to the podcast. And he like realizes that they had done this terrible thing and blamed it on somebody else and never told him that they did it. And then he evicts her.
That's why you gotta watch what you say, guys.
Don't tell Jose that he got a
Jose's listening to the podcast right now and he's like, I remember that girl's tit. And I'm like, my hair literally, so in that Instagram photo dump, my hair's sticking up like spaghetti. That was that day. So imagine me wearing my aviators, spaghetti hair sticking straight up, tit in hand, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go watch this cool show again. Hope I like it. Like, only Stacey.
That was
hashtag 2016, guys.
The origin of Stacey being a fan of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yep. All I did was
Jose,
post about it on Facebook, and it comes up every year in my memories.
The show is sick.
Anybody
And
else watching?
I just remember the next year I'm at work and one of the teachers, she was younger than me, a dance teacher. She was like, "Oh, you know the guy who plays Steve? He's from Newburyport. Like my family knows him." And like in this particular moment, like she's kind of pissed me off, so I tried to act so unimpressed. I went, "Oh, I already know that." No, I didn't. So instead, I'm like, "He's from around here. You know him? Holy shit!" So instead, I'm like trying to keep it cool. I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that." And I like walked away. And like in my head, I'm like, "Oh my god, no wonder he's awesome. He's from Mass." I already
really
knew
funny.
that.
Do you want to talk about the documentary?
Yeah, let's chat about that. I finally watched it. I was half watching it on the phone with you, not paying attention. So then I tried to rewatch it again. I always find production stuff fascinating. And you were right. It was only season 5, but like you even called it early on. You were like, they're doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I feel like they're shooting this for a doc. And I know they had done one for the play, which I've yet to watch. But this was really cool seeing the process of them reaching this part of ending the show and just how much work goes into it. And of course, at the end, when everybody was rapping, I was boohoo crying.
Yeah, the end was when it got a little emotional with like the raps. But like, I don't know, for some reason, when I watched Schitt's Creek, it had been over for years, right? And I binged the whole thing. And so when I watched the documentary that they made,
Sobbing.
I literally could not stop sobbing the whole time I was watching that fucking documentary. So I don't know what about that documentary was so emotional, but also like that show was a very like human show. It's not like they had like insane sets and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. Like it was more about the characters and the journey they take, and we all kind of discovered it around the same time, back when it was on Netflix streaming, because it was kind of a sleeper hit. And then it got us through the pandemic, and we all became obsessed with it when it was wrapping up. And it broke all these records, winning all these Emmys, well deserved. I just recently restarted it, and I'm like, this is a feel good show. Like I love this kind of humor. But with Stranger Things, it's on a more epic scale. There's more production and things going behind it with the process. So I don't know. Like, I like that you warned me, though, because it took me a few days to finally watch it. And you went, don't think you're going to be sobbing your eyes out. It's not really like that. Like, yes, it's emotional as a fan, but you're like, it's more about the creative and production process behind it. So I like that you warned me.
Yeah, I was just trying to like not get your like hopes up too much, or like have you set like some expectations. Like I was like, yeah, go in sort of
We've
like...
learned the hard way with Stacey setting the bar.
We didn't want Stacey to be disappointed. There was a lot of people that went into like making this show. And like, it was really cool to see like the different teams of like set designers and like, you know, the directors and like all the cast, like extras and
it
stunt
never
doubles.
I'm fascinated by that stuff. And I always have the biggest respect for cast and crew. But I really loved the set designers, like them taking images from like Poltergeist and Nightmare on Elm Street, dressing it like an 80s room, being inspired by these things, seeing how they were creating the Upside Down, because I guess they like saved a pool noodle company from going under by buying them and refurbishing them into vines. Like, it's great. The stunts alone, like anytime I see people on wires, I'm like, whoa. So it's crazy that you see them filming it. And I'm like, I wonder where they filmed this, where there weren't any leaks, thank God. But I'm like, wow, they're in front of a green screen. It's really up to the actors to do all these like reactions and stuff. It goes to show you how much work and talent goes behind it, because I find that stuff very fascinating.
Yeah, but then the amount of stuff that they actually did practically and not CGI and stuff like that, and built out that whole like rib cage of like,
how cool is that?
That was very cool. Like I have a new appreciation, I feel like, for everything that happened in that set, because
a lot of time and energy goes into that. Because if you think about it, I think a lot of silicone was used. Like they have to sculpt it, then they have to cast it, then they have to make molds and copies of it, then they have to paint it, which is usually airbrushing, and then they have to use like lube basically to keep everything like wet looking. And the process and the work behind it, I've known 2 people that have worked on the original Demogorgon when he was practical, mostly casting teeth, and you don't even think about that. You're like, oh, every individual tooth had to be sculpted. and that's little fucking teeth. But that set alone, I remember you and I right away were like, oh my God, it's so gross and
Yeah.
weird looking.
Yeah.
Like that's really eye-catching. And so many people have said, and I agree with this, the effects that stand the test of time is a perfect blend of CGI and practical, like Jurassic Park, puppets and actual practical effects, and CGI to digitally like enhance it, because then it will age better. Because there are some practical effects that haven't aged well without the help of CGI, and then there's some CGI that looks like shit. So this was, I agree, a perfect blend, and just like those dragon teeth and stuff, like right away I'm like, whenever it turned into a dragon, I went, oh, that's just great.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was going to be the three-headed dragon, but like just seeing Dimension X finally, it was really just cool that they thought of this world. Like, yeah, we had seen glimpses of it before, but seeing the cast having to do their rehearsals and this and that. But I really loved how they shot Karen Wheeler and Holly Wheeler's scene in the tub with the plexiglass. Such a cool shot.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was funny to see, it was interesting to see some of the reaction to the documentary about them showing that they didn't have the finale written as they were starting, but like that's just how TV
99% of the time, that is how it works. Some of the greatest TV shows of all time, when they go into production, they'll have a vague idea outline, but like 6 Feet Under and stuff, which has one of probably the greatest endings of all time, 6 seasons. They were like, okay, we vaguely know how we're going to wrap it up, but it's not written yet. That's how productions work. So you and I were both saying before recording, we tried to stay off TikTok and like hear all the hate and stuff, because I feel like, and that's what I tried to stay away from before I watched it, to have my own opinion, because they really, certain people were just being haters, really not painting the Duffer Brothers in a good light. Love or hate the finale in season 5, to each its own, love it or hate it. But this documentary, I think it was a realistic portrayal of a production
of
like
what
this.
happens. Yeah. And I think that the people who made a good point about season 1 was that was how they made season 1, because originally Steve Harrington was supposed to be Toast Man. Like when they started
Lonnie
filming,
was going to save the day.
yeah, he was supposed to like die in the first few episodes, and just because they liked him so much and he had so much chemistry with the cast,
Charm.
like they rewrote how the show ended based on that.
That's
you
what I
know?
think it is. The meat and potatoes, the like details of it weren't ironed out yet, and it kind of worked to their advantage. But I think the brothers had a vague idea of what they wanted the story to be about, and as they filmed and continued seeing chemistry amongst people and what worked and what didn't work, they continued going. Such minor things as somebody pointed out, where's the buyer's dog? Apparently that dog was not really well behaved. They meant to shoot in season 2 a shot of the grave. I'd like to believe it got buried somewhere with the Demodog in the fridge, maybe. But like something so little, fans like us are like, where's the dog? Nobody's thinking about the fucking dog. They have bigger, problems. But stuff like that, well, they weren't banking on the dog kind of sucking. So what did they do? Oh, dog's dead, but we never address it because you really don't need to waste time on it. So it's what you don't know what's going to happen. Like there's been times before where, oh, that was written for so-and-so, but instead, like they got an injury on set, or this person seemed to mesh better with this person. They right away saw, like, not to talk about Joe again, but him and Gaten had great chemistry, and they're like, you know what, this is a good pairing. Let's put these two together.
Yeah.
They kind of worked as they went along, and I feel like that's how production is. So the whole like, oh, they were just on the fly doing it. And I'm like, calm down, guys. Like, if you hate it, that's fine. But come on, it's a documentary.
Another thing that I feel like we kind of knew from when we got to listen to Joe and Maya at the Ice Cream Social was they talked about it in the documentary, how much they let the actors and their personalities inform those characters. Like,
yeah,
because those characters were sort of, at some point, maybe like the personality of those actors like really got written into the characters, which is so interesting.
I think that shows such good trust from the Duffers as well as the actors. Like, we all know originally Robin was going to be Steve's girlfriend, love interest. Maya was like, well, why don't we try this? How do you guys feel about this instead? And it became one of the most important storylines and best friendships on the show. I really liked that. And I thought like, okay, well, what they're going to do is they're going to go this way. And like you said, like how Maya portrayed Robin, how, Millie was showing like kind of the evolution of Eleven and stuff. It was really interesting seeing these characters' growth while some took a back seat, some took a front seat, depending on the season. So I don't know, like, I just feel like people are going to complain. I feel like with that whole conformity gate, like, people were going to be unhappy no matter what. To each its own. My own personal thought was season 5 was the weakest, but the finale kind of wrapped it up nicely for me. I enjoyed it as a fan. It made me emotional. I liked it, but I look back, I hated how fucking Lost ended. That was my show that I watched with my mother, and I remember literally telling my college roommate, she's rolling over in her fucking grave right now. She called it from the beginning. Dexter, like, what the fuck with that ending? So many good shows. Sopranos, literally, I'm like, that's it? Game of Thrones, Notorious, doesn't mean the show fucking sucks. Doesn't mean that these fans are going to turn on them. If you're a True Blue fan, maybe you didn't exactly like a certain season or how an episode or how it ended, but at the end of the day, you need to appreciate the journey of watching it. Like, look, 10 years have passed and we've been fans of this show, watching it. We have favorite seasons, we have least favorite seasons, but I think it ended the way it should have ended. I'm kind of glad that it wasn't a bloodbath. And it knew when to end. We were talking about Walking Dead. It just kept going and going to the point nobody cared anymore.
Yeah.
You keep it going and you're not going to please everybody.
Exactly.
So I felt like this was cool to show how much work the cast and crew went into it, because we even mentioned Conformity Gate, yeah, Dare to Dream, but at the end of the day, kind of insulting to everybody who worked so hard on that finale and their hard work. So I'm glad they were showcased with that documentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more on all of that. So it was a good watch, and it was like we've said, a fitting end to the series. I love the show, but it's not like I wanted it to go on forever. It had to end at some point. And season 5 is never going to be my favorite season, but like, it is what it is. Like, and I guess that's a good, sort of preview, because this is season 5 of our podcast.
This is going to be our worst one yet, baby.
We will deep dive season 5, and I think as we deep dive, we will sort of get a new appreciation for some of it.
That's what I've been doing. I know you haven't been rewatching it, but I did rewatch season 5 recently, and there were some things that I hated originally that I was like, oh, kind of looking at it in a different light now that I'm appreciating. Then there's stuff I love that I don't like. So I think us waiting a little while before we start doing that is going to be good to look at with different either shit-tinted glasses or rose-tinted glasses.
Exactly. So it's going to be a fun season. We have plenty of other things planned, but we'll also be deep diving season 5 throughout the next few months. And yeah, we're excited to go on that journey with all of you.
We should do a fake conformity gate episode of like just literally unlimited budget. We can do whatever we want. What would we have done? You're like, Stacey, that's one of the worst ideas you have ever pitched. Shut your computer down.
I mean, let us know, guys, if you want to hear that. Like, I just
Mine
don't know that
filthy.
I'm like creative enough. Like,
I
feel like
you'll be fine. Everyone will have a happy ending.
This is why I like to read and consume media. I do not like to create the media, because I feel like I don't really have like the best ideas. Like, I'm sure that there's lots of AO3 fanfic writers that could write some conformity gate shit like fire. Like, it would be amazing. Hopefully they do. Like,
I'm really
here
hope
for
so.
it.
Yeah, let's read it, baby.
Because that's the beautiful thing about, like consuming media like this. Like, you can make it whatever you want it to be. So
100%. Yeah.
We're definitely gonna, keep reading fan fiction and
baby.
just like enjoying all of the creativity around this show, because it's so fun. But I also am excited that I have like more room in my brain to like watch other things. Like, we've been, expanding our like circle here a little bit.
We've been trying to expand the palette a little bit. I agree.
Which has been great too. So I feel like that's a fitting way to sort of wrap this up and kind of transition into a little bit of a merch segment.
Yes.
Okay, so I know you have merch to talk about. Can I just start before we get into all of the things that you want to share?
Of course.
We want to thank Matt Gilbert
He is the
because
best.
we love him so much, and he just sent us both copies of the season 3 junior novelization of Stranger Things. So I am so happy for him that this is out.
It was so kind of him to send us copies, but we were discussing how, like, that's, in my eyes, the one that I rewatch the most, especially in the winter, because it's summer and it's bright and it, lifts the spirits. So I was like, oh, I am looking forward to reading you. So shout out to Matt. Very talented.
Yeah, he's awesome. Such a fun guy and talented writer as well. So thank you for those copies. But what else do you have merch-wise for us?
So shout out to Daff and Clay. I believe I'm saying that the right way. They are on Instagram. They are a very talented artist and sculptor. They have made really cool, like, Another Bite charms and charms that have to do with Joe and his past albums. And me and Megan have a little further down the line a pretty cool giveaway that we're cooking up. So stay tuned for details on that. We will release information and details on how to enter when it's ready. But huge shout out to them. Very, very cool, unique stuff. I heard a rumor that the next wave of Funko Pops that will be coming out, there's like concept art, and then they're like, no, that's being heavily considered. So of course I like almost licked the screen of my phone when I heard that possibly, most likely, we will get Steve with the baseball cap backwards. I was like, is this real? So I like lost my mind and had to confirm it several times in a group chat, but I heard that's highly likely. And then they said that there might be one with him and Dustin, and a lot of people are like, maybe it's them embracing or hugging. I'm of course making jokes, so it's them fighting, or like they do the whole staircase melting,
the Rubik's Cube, like
hitting him mid in the squash. But Haley made a good like point, even though there's all these great ideas like Eddie and Dustin on the trailer, those things are fucking huge and they're so hard to store and display, as cool as they are. But I was getting like out of control. I'm like, full scale radio tower, Jonathan and Steve Pops climbing up them. It's 6 feet tall.
The radio tower would be cool though.
How awesome would that be? I love that.
Still waiting
radio.
on that back tattoo.
Get ready. Going all the way down my ass. So I heard that, I guess, the Dr. Sasquatch soap that did the Stranger Things soaps, they now have deodorant. I don't know how that smells. Probably the same sense as the soaps, but they are available at Target. So I might have to get some Steve Harrington deodorant, guys.
Yeah.
With everyone being like, what smells like a French whore? And I'm like, sorry, it's me and my Steve scent. Also, you mentioned Matt with the novelization, so cool. And I also received my vinyl, cassette, and CD of the Crux Deluxe.
Oh, that's so exciting. That just finally came out, right?
That finally shipped. Really, really cool. It'll be, the street date is in February, so definitely stay tuned, guys. But if you order or pre-order through the site, which I called it, I was like, they're definitely going to do physical media. And that's a big thing, guys. I am very pro physical media. I am guilty of downloading stuff and buying stuff on streaming, but at the end of the day, it's really good to have a DVD, a Blu-ray, a VHS, a cassette, a vinyl, a CD, whatever you prefer, because you can't always depend on technology, and it's just cool to have. Like Marmalade came out from Vinegar Syndrome, a Blu-ray, and the artwork was so cool. Even though I already have it on a bare bones DVD, I was like, no, I want to own this. So kind of completing my collection, I went through all my Joe vinyls, and besides like the plain black variants of 2020 and decide I own them all.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah.
Now I get to own the Willy Wonka factory because I own them all.
The Crux Deluxe cover, I think, is my favorite Joe cover also.
Isn't it so pretty? I love that they did that.
I love the colors, like, and it's just like that nighttime vibe
Moody,
of like
yeah.
the hotel. Like, it's my favorite, I think, of the Joe covers. And I know that Stacey is dying to talk more about the Crux Deluxe because we have not gotten to talk about it much.
I'm going to lick the screen, guys.
We definitely will be talking more about the Crux Deluxe on the podcast as well in the next few weeks. So
hell yeah, baby. But really, really cool stuff. And I'm keeping my eyes open. I heard that Walmart is slicing their prices for Stranger Things. I went to Hot Topic and Box Lunch recently. It was right after the holidays, but they were cleared the F out. Maybe because of the holidays and the show ending. But I know Target still has a good amount of stuff. So does at Walmart, depending on the store. I'm waiting for those goddamn candles at Target to finally get sliced down because $20 a pop. No, thank you. But I heard things like Stephen the Squawk Van, that's being, cut in half. The Care Bears, which I know you were looking at, they're being reduced prices.
I should look, yeah.
Keep your eyes open, guys.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I need the Care Bears.
Yeah, you do.
Somebody buy me the Care Bears. I can't justify spending my own money on them.
I know what you're getting for your birthday, girly.
Well, that was fun. Lots
That
of
was
fun
fun.
merch. And this episode in general was really fun. We're excited to, keep going with the show. And I love just starting a new season. It feels like a new chapter.
We should film a TikTok somehow getting together, even though we live far away, and do a radio tower race and climb up a radio tower.
Like we're actually going to find one.
Yeah, let's do it. That's not illegal, right, guys? I won't fall to my death, right, guys? I can't even get up on the ladder. I'm out of breath. And I'm
Stacey
like,
has such great ideas for the podcast.
so many good ideas. Megan's able to get to the top quick because she does yoga, guys. Remember? Full circle.
All right. Are we good? Are we done?
I think we're good, man.
we maybe in season 5 we'll get better at our outros.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Where can they find us? That sucks. We almost forgot that. Season 5, guys. Just bear with us.
We are on social media pretty much anywhere, but most active on Instagram at Skull Rock Broadcast, not podcast.
No.
Broadcast. And Stacey is at Stay Still Reviews. I'm at Steady Stories. I'm at 39.9 thousand followers. It's taking me a
One more
really
follower and you get 40.
no, it needs 100 more.
Oh, I'm
but
an
it's
idiot.
taking
Okay.
a really long time to get that last 100 to get to 40,000. So I think I'll get there soon.
We'll make it happen. I'll wave a crystal around.
I'll have to do something fun when I get to 40,000 followers. That'll be fun. But we also have a Patreon. So check us out there if you want to support the show. Like Stacey said, giveaways coming up. You'll have first information about any giveaways on there, and we have fun bonus content that we post. So it's fun. It's a fun time. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, let's go
Again,
climb up that radio tower.
this
Season 5, baby.
Sucks.
This sucks. Thought this was gold. Fuck you. You're not invited to the radio tower anymore.
All
Over
right.
and out.
Over and out.
Eddie, I'm not sure I love the idea of you driving.
Oh, I'm starting to suffer. Harrington's got it. Don't you, big boy?
I watched Jeopardy with my parents the other day.
Oh,
I was
course
so
you
proud
did.
of myself. I was getting some right, but also
You get the daily double.
I got one that nobody got.
What was
none of the 3 people knew it. It was viral lips stuff. What brand is the viral black honey lip stuff? Do you know it?
No.
Clinique.
Good for you.
I knew that, and nobody else knew it. None of the 3 people on there, and it was one of the ones at the very bottom of the screen.
You stand up and you're like, everybody stop my dick. Good old Jeopardy.
It was fun though. I feel like there was some things that were related to Stranger Things and stuff too on there, but
There was once a Joe question. He was like, when I'm back in Chicago. And I'm like, okay. I love it when people misspell shit. That would be me when you write it down. And I'm like, that's spelled so wrong.
yeah, do they give it to them if it's spelled
Yeah, they
wrong?
give it to them. But I remember on Wheel of Fortune, Alexis once got really nasty with me watching it with me. And she goes, you're the worst speller in the world. You would suck on the show and make us lose. Or you'd get bankruptcy. And I'm like, calm down, queen. And
Don't
then-
go on Wheel of Fortune with your
Holy
sister.
fucking shit. But I'll send you a clip. There's this guy, clearly Stacy. It's like the answer is Bitcoin in the future, and you see him look at the screen and he goes, bitches in the future? Pat Sajak just throws his cards down. So that'd be you and me.
Bitches.
Bitches in the future?
Bitchin', right? Elle's thing that
Bitchin'.
she says. All right.
All right.
Well, we are back.
We're back. We talked a little bit about Jeopardy. So secret segment. Have you been reading anything, lady?
Secret segment. Let's talk about the secret segment first. Since we are kicking off a new season, there could be people listening for the first time.
Yes, through your disclaimer, we might freak people out.
This is our secret segment. It is where we talk about fan fiction because we know that fan fiction is not for everyone. Not everyone wants to hear about, Steve and Eddie
Being merman fucking.
doing the dirty. So
Was that crude?
a little bit, but
Okay.
it's Stacy. You've
Yeah.
said worse.
True.
So if you are not into that, please just turn this off. Don't worry about it. Come
Don't
back
worry
next
about
time.
Don't worry about it.
But if you want to hear what mostly Stacy has been reading lately,
Oh, yeah.
I certainly do. But I do have a couple things to talk about. So
Why don't
You
you,
want
go
me to
first?
start?
Because
Yeah.
I am curious.
mostly I just have been trying to read the update of whiskey, cigarettes, and other things that burn.
Did they update
They
recently? Or are you
did.
catching up? Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes.
Yeah, so there's a new chapter of that, which I started, but I haven't
Reading
finished
tomorrow.
yet. Yeah, so that's really good. And then last night, I don't know, I was feeling really nostalgic, and I started, which we were talking about this on Friday, I think, The Great Unironic.
Oh yeah.
I started reading The Most Remarkable Thing.
Oh, I love that one.
So I don't know if I'll keep reading it. Like, rereading is hard for me sometimes because it's like I already know what's gonna happen, so like I can't get my brain to like do it. But I love that fic so much, so I was kind of rereading it. It's really funny because that was the fic that I was like,
Wasn't that what got you into it?
no, that was The Man That I Could Be. But
Oh yeah.
that was the first fic that I was just like, this is just such a beautiful way to end, like, with these characters. And I feel like it can still sort of fit for after season 5. It's interesting
Yeah.
to me, like now reading fics, like you can sort of imagine that they happened after season 5 rather than after season 4, and just
Yeah.
like, Eddie survived, obviously, but like
yeah.
I kind of like wanted like other people that aren't even into like fandom and fan fiction. I was like, this is like a fic that I would recommend to them.
An actual something to read. That's how I am with Take the Money and Run. I've been trying to get Lauren to read my physical copy because I'm like, no, you don't understand. This should have been published. It's that good. So yeah.
And then I also started a fic last night where Steve takes Dustin to see a concert for Corroded
cute.
Coffin, but like Corroded Coffin is all like masked people, and
Oh, like Slipknot.
or like I think Ghost is like Ghost like that too.
Oh, that's actually a better visual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
what in the author's note they mentioned that. But like, so then I stopped reading before I didn't get like to the smut, but like then they go for like a meet and greet, and like the rest of the band takes Dustin like to go get merch, and then Steve stays with Eddie, but he doesn't know it's Eddie is the
Oh.
thing. And Eddie's like, I got to take my mask off, but like, can I blindfold you?
What the fuck?
So it's kind of fucked up, but like,
Might have just sent me the link now. I'm like, okay.
I'll probably finish it later.
Yeah, report back because now I'm intrigued. Can I take my mask off? Fucking psycho. Worth it. Yeah, there's some fics I like go, what? Like, speaking of the great Unironic.
Yeah.
Such a talented author. So I was rereading 2 of their stories. One was I Know How You Take a Sip, and girl, it's bad when I'm even blushing. I was like, ooh. One word, #panties. Just use your imagination. And then I reread the Valentine's Day Experience where they fuck in the trailer and make the cookies. Classic. Because Valentine's Day is next month, and I love that. But on TikTok, there's a few accounts that I've been following where it's like Guess the Steady Fic and stuff, and they do recommendations. And there was one that I was like, oh, what's that? And it was called Lovesick in Loch Nora, and it's a steady fic, and I think it's like 11 chapters. I haven't started it yet. I think after I catch up on Whiskey, Cigarettes, and Other Things That Burn, I'm going to read that next because I was like,
I might have read that.
I've been reading a lot of one-shots, and I'm like, I want to read something that's not super long, but something that's going to invest me.
Yeah.
So I think that might be my next adventure with the fellas.
Let me see if I've read that.
I love that you actually keep track.
Well, I'll just look in my books app and like search for it.
Oh, you're smart.
Because I always download them. No, I guess not. I feel like
I'll let
I've
you
read
know.
one about like where they live in Loch Nora.
Girl, there was a fucked up one where it's like a different take on like medieval times in Loch Nora, and they're all fucking each other and turn into robots. I was like, this is perverted, but I read the whole thing.
Hold on. I want to see if Great and Ironic wrote this one fic that I love so much where they're both like on TikTok.
Oh, cute. Remember the
and-
Junk Journal one? I loved that one.
That was really good. So it also has a really good podfic. They're going to send us to prison for
being jerks.
That's
Yep.
the one. I love it so much.
And they didn't end up finishing it, but it was so good.
They finished it. It's finished.
Did
It's just
they? I'm
one
an idiot.
chapter. Yeah.
But it's long.
It's a one
yeah.
shot. Yeah, it's a pretty long one shot. Oh my gosh. I need to reread that for sure.
I
All right.
agree.
Lots of fun plans for our reading.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how I do.
Ooh, let's go, Megan, season 5.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Peace.
All right. Peace.